Hey guys. So a couple people asked me what my entertainment center was behind me when I was doing the One Present Tense episode. Now that I got stuff fairly cleaned up, I figured I'd show you guys. Um, when it came to making my gaming center, if you will, I didn't want to do custom cabinets like I did with the shelves because I wanted something that would be easily movable in terms of like vacuuming, or if I want to change things up. Like when we get the windows finally taken care of, this and my art desk will actually be swapped. Um, so I was having trouble trying to find something that would work easily and in the confines of being like right near the front door and still have room to get to my closet for the green screen for Game Rave. Um, One day, me and Becky were at IKEA and we were in the kitchen area, and they have these custom cabinet setups. Like you basically design your own cabinets, what shelves you want, stuff like that. And while I was waiting for her to finish up with something, I spotted these guys. Now, I can't remember the name of these shelves, but they're awesome. They're actually kitchen cabinets instead of an entertainment center. And there is the small one and the medium one. Now, with these two guys purchased together, they were basically just the squares. I was able to buy the shelves individually. And after checking out size and heights for CD lids and so forth, this turned out amazing. This setup right here was about $100, but what's nice is the shelves are sturdy. This is their actual, like, more or less not quite real wood, but not quite fake, Bristol board type stuff, somewhere in between. And it worked out amazingly. In fact, it worked out so well, I actually have an extra shelf left over because I, thought I was going to need more. Um, all the systems you see here are more or less wired into the TV set through magic, more or less. Um, the PlayStation and the Saturn and the Neo Geo CD and the Sega CDX are actually all going through a SCART, going through that SCART selector right there, and then that's outputting to the upscaler, which then leads to my Elgato and the TV. Now, I've already talked about this stuff in another video, so we'll skip that. But if you can do it and you have the couple extra bucks to go SCART cables for your older systems into the SCART upscalers, God, I highly recommend it. The CRTV with component inputs on the CRTV just make old school systems shine through that SCART cable. Just absolutely impressive. Now, I actually have the two TVs. The CRT is the main TV. This is what I use for actual gaming, stuff like that. The HDMI monitor is actually used for the screen capturing because the Elgato only outputs to HDMI. So rather than basically going through an upscaler to the Elgato and then going through a downscaler to what have you, I basically switch cables to, or not switch cables, but switch TVs to make it easier on the capturing and so forth. The stand I'm actually using for the tripod right now is where I actually have my laptop sitting right here. So when I'm gaming, I can just lean over, grab some notes, grab some screenshots and videos, what have you. Um, this monitor I've had for a long time. In fact, I actually bought this. It's an HP 2207H WH2270H, and I actually bought this a long time ago, not just because I want a nice new monitor. It actually rotates, so if I'm playing Raiden Project with the Game Shark code, I can actually have arcade mode. Or if I'm playing like a Dreamcast game and it's got the vertical arcade ratio, this can rotate and give me that full arcade aspect. When I used to use it as a extra monitor, I used to have it rotated back in the old days when Game Rave was straight up HTML and not the WordPress. I could actually have the entire HTML page up and I could see the whole thing without having to like switch windows and so forth. It was really cool. Now it's basically just my recording monitor. Now for my systems, you've actually seen these guys before in other videos, so we'll just go run through it real quick. This is my consoleized MVS done by Gemination X, just absolutely beautiful. It's essentially a Neo Geo arcade board modified to play on a TV with its own power source and so forth. What makes this model sexy, besides the paint job, is that this is the 2-game slot board with the memory card. So I have full access to everything. So if I wanted to actually set my old school actual Neo Geo AES system, I can just grab the memory card from here and throw it in there and still have all my game progress and so forth. Good old PlayStation with the Game Shark attached to it, so for games where I'm having struggling, or if I need to have infinite health so I can take better screenshots, it's good to go. I actually have a laptop that runs Windows 98 that I sometimes try to hack Game Shark codes and so forth with, like relive my old days of not hacking codes, and I keep crashing the program. So obviously I'm not a hacker. But this actually is my work PlayStation. This is the one that does all the demos, screenshots, reviews, what have you. Now, below the PlayStation, I've got my Sega Saturn, my Neo Geo CD, the Dreamcast, and then the selectors. Now, as I mentioned, most of these systems are running through SCART. This is the actual SCART selector. This is actually a Bandage? Bandridge brand one, and I highly recommend it. It's got 5 inputs on there. Very sharp, very clear picture, no degradation. What's nice is it does have one AV input that you can also output through AV. So if you have one system that doesn't have a SCART cable, in this case the Nintendo or Super Nintendo, you can still have that there. My Dreamcast actually isn't going through the SCART. It's actually going through a VGA 2 HDMI upscaler. So if you had watched my Charge and Blast episode of Pause Mode, I used that setup to record from the Dreamcast. Right now, Toy Commander's in there because I was trying to get a hang of it, because that was actually going to be the next Dreamcast Pause Mode. But that might change because I suck at the game really bad. And then last but not least, we've got my Super Nintendo, a Nintendo that is currently being refurbished, so bear with the image. Sega CDX that replaced my Model 1. Now, my Model 1 Sega CD and Genesis are okay. I love that thing to death, but to save room for AC adapters, I got this guy set up instead. Plus it takes up a smaller space, so I didn't have to worry about the cartridge slot on top. And then my TurboGrafx. Now, I actually do have a Duo, and my poor Duo, even after having a specific capacitor sets replaced, being brought back to life brand new, Retro Game Cave did an amazing job. Unfortunately, there was a different diode that they had nothing to do with, that is leaked, and now I don't get sound from certain games, so this is my backup. Regretfully, I haven't played this in a while, and I really should. I've said it before, TurboGrafx was my first ever complete library, and there's just so much good stuff on that system. But nowadays, it's just way too expensive to collect for. But yeah, guys, so more or less, let me see if I can gently look at this. But yeah, just a little kitchen cabinet from IKEA, holding all my game systems. Works wonderful. I will spare you the audacity of the cords behind there because it's terrible. But yeah, eventually this is where I'll relax and game. And it's so weird when it comes to games on these systems. When I play a PlayStation 4 game, I can relax and just play it because I don't cover on the website. When it comes to games on these guys, though, I always feel conflicted because even though I want to relax and just play it, back in my head I'm thinking, no, you should be doing screenshots and review stuff and ideas for Game Rave and so forth. So it's a really weird juxtaposition as far as gaming goes. I think that's why I love my PlayStation 4 so much, is that I just don't cover things for it. But yeah, so there you go, guys. That's my little entertainment center. Nothing big, just nice little organized, small, delectable. It's all good. Take care, guys. Have a good one.